Live from the City of Angels, it's Thursday night. Our MMT of A24's Backrooms, the internet sensation, creepypasta. The Gen Zers out in force this weekend to see this film. It's gonna be massive. We'll discuss its box office prospects tonight on MMT. I am also giving bonus consideration to anyone who can tell me what movie this music is from. It's one of my favorite horror films. I've never used it. If you know, come in the comments. Let's talk about this film here tonight. It's a polarizing film. You know, you're talking about a film that is going to work for some of the audience, and then a lot of the audience is not, because it's not going to be what they wanted. And that's what you need to understand here is this IP, the Backrooms, is a big fucking deal. Okay, and when I walked into my crowd here tonight at AMC 16, I looked around and I'm like, I have not seen this many younger 18 to 24, 18 to 30 since like Minecraft. So this is gonna be huge. Again, we'll discuss, but I do want to get to my reaction here on this Thursday night. Thanks for being here live as always. We do these live. We don't do things like Jeremy Johns 1,000 times and edit it together. No, we are live as always. Here we go. Let's discuss this. Get the out of theater reaction via tweet form. And I pop it up and here it is. Here's my snapshot of it, and we'll go into exactly what works, what doesn't. It's going to be a little more detailed tonight. There's a lot to talk about here with Backrooms. This is a film that will no doubt frustrate much of its audience. Backrooms would benefit from being more batshit experimental like Skinamarink. Now, I know some of you aren't going to like that when I say that, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second, so just bear with me. There's enough weirdness here, though, to engage across a very manageable 1 hour and 45-minute runtime. I think that's important here, too. It's got cabin in the woods feels, but it's not nearly as great as that film. And this is not the home run the IP really should have been, okay? That's the 50,000-foot overview, and then we're going to get to the actual details, breaking this down element by element like no one else can here on MMT. Here is 30 seconds of tonight's evaluation. It is A24's internet sensation. It is Backrooms. Welcome to the channel. Wrong video.
I found a place.
A place.
It's massive in there.
What is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. All right, just take it slow. Oh, God. Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up!
Are you ready to step through?
Okay, so that trailer's way scarier than the actual film. That's a major issue, right? This film should be creepier. I think it's still enough, okay? Again, this is like a wild evaluation because I'm all over the place on this film. And I think anybody who has seen this will understand how I feel. This is not a wholesale trashing kind of night like we were with Mandalorian and Grogu, which was just pure agony for 2+ hours. I really love the world building here, right? You talk about having to build this fluorescently lit office space that went crazy on the internet way back when, and then created this lore of the ability to continue on and on and on as the rooms just never end and you get lost inside this labyrinth of an empty office space. Okay, that's how I can best describe it. But you have to be able to build that. And that gets back to what we talk about all the time when we get to award season. We talk about production design. This is without question a production design contender. There's no way it's not, because you have to be able to make it believable that we are entering the back rooms that are so internet famous, okay? If you're not familiar with this IP, again, like I said off the top, you got to understand that kids know this shit, and you better make sure that that world is here. And Kane Parsons, the director, is the guy who came up with it on the internet, so obviously he's familiar with it, so that works. So you get that here. Very important. You got to nail that. They do. I think overall it's a largely engaging film, right? You look at that runtime of 145, which is just right. You don't want to have a runtime that is a little too long where you start to go, I want to get out of here. Now, back to why I say it's manageable, because when I'm watching this film, there's very few moments where I'm like, okay, I need to step out. I'm bored. Let's get this going. I think there's a little bit here we can discuss, but I think overall there's enough of pacing that will not have you going, get me the hell out of this theater, okay? These are like bigger picture things, but they're very important we talk about an evaluation for a film. So you need to understand that everything we're saying here is key. If we're not drilling down on exact details, you need to understand its feel, right? These things are a lot about feel. Okay, now let's talk about some other things that I do not like about this film. And the number one thing is that we have another trauma saddling character situation. In this case, older characters. Now, why am I saying that's an issue? Because this is an IP that is designed and relished by Gen Z, okay? And then we have two actors that are 30 and 40 plus, and you talk about two actors that the kids don't even know, and it almost feels like this was cast by A24, and these are some actors that we think that our crowd likes, you know, the artsy crowd, the cinephilic crowd, and I like both, okay? But the issue is that this is not a film for them. It's a film for a younger set. Now, we have two characters that are inserted that are Gen Z. The problem is they're both dumb, and they're useless. I want to go back and rewrite this entire script and bring the ages down, change a lot of it, because you have to in order to make it work at that age, because here you're dealing with a dude in LO4 that is dealing with trauma because his wife kicked him out of the house, right? Someone always has an issue, and of course they're an alcoholic and they're sitting around drinking out of their bottle of fucking liquor. It just, you know, the tropes, they're all over the place here. You have the psychiatrist who is dealing with her own trauma of mommy issues. So, right, that is a drag. There's a way to make this more accessible to the younger audience, and also, I think, not the drag that it is. Because the scenes that do drag, even though I think that, again, that runtime works and that it's largely engaging, the scenes that drag, when we got the two of them and they're talking about trauma, and you're like, oh, God, come on. Get me back inside the back rooms. Get me back to that cool production design. And just let me sit in that, right? So you need to make it weirder. And here's what I said. You know, you talk about the fix here. I'll bring that in early because it dovetails into what I'm talking about when I say make it weirder. Make it more like Skin and Marink. Now, if you never saw Skin and Marink, I'm going to show you guys just a bit of that film. I know a lot of you don't like it, but I'm going to tell you what it does well. It is disorienting, and it is batshitty strange. And I think that this film would have benefit from doing some stuff like this. Here's a taste of what I'm talking about when you watch a Skin and Marink, which, yes, I will admit, does grow wearisome over that runtime. But just watch. This is what I want a little bit more of on tonight's film, Backrooms. This is Skin and Marink. As the wheel of death spins, here it comes. Again, listen, you've got that rough audio. You've got that shot on high 8, super 8. You've got, right, it's just a weird fucking film. You hear that with the audio coming in straight? I think that we can do more of that here with this film. Not this totally, because this is not going to work for most people. I understand that. But you understand what I'm saying, right? I want to twist the knobs on what we're doing here to make it less trauma-filled and more, what the fuck am I watching? Okay, and that's what we're doing here when we twist the Skin and Marink knob and we make it just a little bit weirder. Again, no one else could do what I do. You guys need to understand that. And I mean that. And I say that here for a second. I need you to pause and understand that and give me a thumbs up. There's not one person in this space nor in Hollywood who could do what I'm doing here now live as we do this on MMT. So please appreciate what we do. It is a science, okay, as we break these things down. Now let's go back and look at Backrooms, because you guys are like, what the hell am I watching? And listen, if you haven't seen it, go watch Skin and Marink and get back to me. We talk about it on Sunday again. I always bring that film up because it definitely left an impression on me. I talked about Cabin in the Woods, okay? Now, I think Cabin in the Woods is one of the greatest horror films of all times because it has that just insane twist on it. And this film definitely lifts from that. Also here at Backrooms, you get a scene that is straight out of Texas Chainsaw, right? We're all around the dinner table. So there's just a lot of stuff that feels like it's ripped from other things. You know, Labyrinth, without question here, as you get lost inside the labyrinth of the Backrooms. But, you know, look, here's what you need. You need to, it's one thing to ape another film, but you really still have to be able to build in the ability to scare the audience. And I think that this film really is lacking in that. Even if it's not a pure horror film, make it just creepier. You know, I got to go in and we got to talk about ways to make it better. I got to go back to the screenplay here, okay? You got to go in because Kane wrote this along with another dude who wrote some episodes of Westworld and seems like a very marginal writer, I would say at best. And I think that you need to get some people that are more talented in here in the writing room to punch it up. I think that Kane does okay on the direction. It's nowhere near like when I came out of Obsession and was like, oh my God, this Barker dude, give this guy a 10-picture deal. He is a total stud, right? I don't feel that way when I watch this film here tonight. But it's also not a total misfire, okay? I think at the end of the day, when we break this film down, we're talking about a film that should have been better, but is not bad, but it will, again, frustrate a lot of people that come to see it because, again, you have that 0% scary element, and that's very problematic when you talk about a film that is viewed through the lens of being a horror film. Let's talk about the score tonight. It's 79% C+, and that's okay. I just wish it were at an 89 or higher. You know, they're 10 points up, but you got to go back and rewrite. You got to go back and rework. You got to go in and do a lot of stuff to this film. And, you know, it's too late now. You know, A24, we've talked about this before. You can bring me in. I can help you. You don't let me do that. It's very disappointing. I don't care if I'm not your target audience. I'm better than they are. I just told you how to target this audience and you didn't do it. But here, listen, I'll take comments right now because I know a lot of you seem to be polarized on this film. Some of you really like it. Some of you don't like it at all. He says it's boring. Can I just tell you this? I don't like that critique. I don't like to hear a film's boring because at the end of the day, this is a film that is more of a mood piece. It should be as we get lost in the labyrinth of the Backrooms and we are just in this kind of zoned out trippy kind of area. That's what I want to be. So maybe that's boring, but that's just not, listen, don't use that. Be better. You know, tell me why it's boring, because it doesn't have enough action for you, because you wanted it to be weirder. You want to be scarier. Okay. Yeah. That's better than just saying this one's boring as hell. Okay. We need to be a little bit better. Kane Parsons would have been fired if he went Skin and Marink. Okay, listen, but Klein, here's the thing is that A24 is a studio that you can do that with. This is not Warner Brothers. This is not Universal. This is not Sony. You know, this is a studio that should be willing to go a little bit weirder. And I think that, again, this screenplay that clearly is not totally written by Kane. It's written by the dude who did the Westworld stuff, okay? That is the part of this film that needs to be just messied up and just made less derivative and weirder and all this. Also the score, it's, again, adequate, not great. I think you turn around, you give this score to a Micah Levi, and then you're talking about elevating the film. I promise you this, if I got a Micah Levi score out of this, I'd probably be at 85 or higher. That's how important score is. Even if it's the same film, you strip it out and you give me Micah Levi, because Micah Levi's doing some weird shit. And I love Micah Levi's work. And A24 knows Michael Levi. Neon knows for sure. You bring they in, that's Micah, and you get what you really need on this film. Backrooms is never about jump scares and all that. It was about mostly exploring the atmosphere. Yes, RB, I get it. But again, it's not creepy enough. I'm not asking for the scares. But I'm just asking, can't you just try to make it, even if it's not about that? Why don't you make the pirate dude scarier? I understand it's so brightly lit. Maybe have some kind of scene that's dimly lit to give me a little bit more of a fear factor versus here's the bright fluorescent light, right? The mood lighting. Look, if I strip the light out of here real quick, if I strip the light out of this, look, is this not, you're watching the same thing, but right now you're like, ooh, this is a little bit more malevolent. I don't know about this channel now, right? So as soon as you make those changes to lighting and whatnot, the entire mood changes. And I think that's another thing. I don't care if the lore is that it's always a fluorescently lit room. You still have to at least have the ability to say, hey, let's try this. Let's maybe go against what is the gospel here. And I think that, look, I just proved my point with this. What a wonderful, again, look, man, damn it. Listen, I know Gone Girl's on the comments tonight. Give him some love tonight for hitting the comments. Honest to God, I really think that there's so many times that we really earn this. It's like every stream, it should just pop up like every 5 seconds. We are the gold fucking standards. I turn the light back up a little bit. But the reality is, right, I make my points. I think they're very clear, and I think they're very cogent and certainly very beneficial for the studios. If the studios had any fucking brains, they would have brought me in a long time ago and had me take care of this shit. But at the end of the day, again, not a total loss here tonight. So we're good there. More comments. I'll take them as many as possible before I get into the box office, because it's very important we talk about box office. This film's going to be massive, because when I sat down tonight, I looked around me and I'm like, holy shit, this is the youngest audience I've seen in a movie in forever, since Minecraft. What, 2 years ago now? Year and a half ago? So you look at that younger Gen Z, 18 to 30-ish, in that range, they're all out for this film. I'm taking it at a very big number. Luis, I like the production design. Definitely had to go bozo weird and less polished. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, bonkers. You get it. You get it, Luis. I mean, listen, again, I talk about A24 not understanding sometimes the task. It really feels like, and I know I'm right on this, go look it up, A24 is run by committee. A24 would benefit greatly from being run by someone like myself who could just say, here's what we're going to do, strip this out, do that, do this. They're run by committee, and they're largely a studio who's You're So Wonderful. They're the trophy generation studio. Everything you do is the best. You need to be harsher. If I could bring in, and we talk about this all the time, and if you don't like what I'm going to say, too bad, because I always break it down when I talk about a Harvey Weinstein, I talk about the piece of shit human being, and I talk about the person who was the studio head who was able to get shit done. We need to have that kind of mentality where we have someone come in and say, here's what you're going to do this, this, and this, and get it done. Now, I also want to talk about this tonight. You look at the possibility that Kane didn't fully direct this film because you have Mark Duplass in this film. I tell you, when I watch this, I do believe that you can see Duplass lending a hand, and you see it a lot in the found footage stuff. Remember the film that he directed, Creep? Great horror film. I love Creep. Not 2, but 1. Better when Creep 1 is awesome, right? Look at how that film looks and feels. Watch how some of this goes when you get to that found footage, right? This could have definitely been holding Kane's hand. And if you didn't know, Duplass was very much against the whole idea that Kane Parsons did not direct this film. But again, you've got a director in Duplass sitting right there. You don't think that he leaned on him and said, hey, what about this? What about that? 100% it happened. I don't care what Duplass says. I don't care what Kane Parsons tells you. That happened. I guarantee you it happened. I don't even need sources. I can see it. Do you guys understand? I've been doing this so long, and we're the gold standard. So, I mean, hello. I see this stuff. I don't need someone to tell me. It's right there. I can feel, again, that's what we do. We have the ability to kind of gauge this shit better than virtually anyone, certainly in the space. It's not a contest. Music was good in Backrooms. It was solid enough. Listen, I just think it can be better. You can elevate it more. A creepier score gets you a weirder, scarier film. Okay, look, go back to a film like, again, did you guys figure out what that was from tonight? Did anybody figure out what movie that was from that I played off the top? You talk about a film that is made better by a bonkers, strange, experimental, abstract score. You're talking about anybody. Do we have Gongro? Did anybody guess what song that was off the top? No one. You guys all disappoint me here on MMT. It was from In Fabric. No, In Fabric. Definitely not Jeepers Creepers, which has a very forgettable score. But that film's awesome, though, Jacob, okay? But In Fabric rocks, okay? You look at adding just a very strange kind of take on a typical composition, and you're going to get better film out of this because you have Kane Parsons doing the score and also some other dude who's done a bunch of forgettable things like Keeper and The Monkey, for God's sake. This is not Michael Levi. Michael Levi would wipe the floor with these people. Any other comments before we get to box office? Because we do want to do that because it's going to be a huge film. You guys understand. If you don't know what Backrooms is, you got to trust me. This is huge IP. It's going to be massive this weekend as A24 gets Medieval on the box office. They're going to have their biggest hit ever, without question, opening weekend. It's not even going to be close. They are going to destroy the old record. What would Backrooms with Curry Barker directing be like? Better film, Klein. 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. The instincts of Curry Barker, you just see those. They're very apparent. I mean, the score's better, right? Everything. Give me Rock Burwell score. Anybody. This score's okay. It's not a detriment, but doesn't add to it. Okay, let's talk about the box office. Let's go and wait till I show you. I told you guys it's gonna be huge. Well, hello, here it is. Here's the Dolby 950 tonight at the theater I was just at, Burbank 16, the number one AMC on the planet. And look at that, completely and utterly slammed except for the first few rows. That is completely slammed. And then we get to Prime. I get to 8:10, which is going off in 10 minutes. Of course, previews 40 minutes from now. You can see that is slammed. Is IMAX? God, does Mandalorian still have IMAX? Oh my God, does it? Holy shit, I think it does. It does because, look, it doesn't have IMAX. Oh, my God, they're wrecked. Dude, IMAX is going to be empty this weekend. Let's go look. Just quickly, before I give you my number, I just have to do this. Let's go look at the IMAX Mandalorian right now. Here it is, 7:30. No way there's anybody in there. Look at that. That's dead. That's so dead. I mean, the middle, but dudes, this should be, oh, God. They really messed up. IMAX messed up. This film should be 100% in IMAX. This is a film that is going to open at, are you guys ready for this? I'm going to take this thing at 80 million tonight. I bumped it up. I had it at 70. I'm going to take it to 80 because you are seeing a massive turnout by Gen Z, and you don't get that very often. So get ready to see a number that is going to blow your mind come Sunday morning when we talk box office. In fact, if this film does 80 this weekend, look for an update from me coming up probably tomorrow, as Deadline usually has that, and we'll talk about it. But you can see it. Again, I should really be going to Vegas. In fact, I might even jump on Polymarket right now. If there's a bet for 16 above for this film, I'm totally taking it. I'm putting 100 on it, 100 tonight. If the Polymarket has this at 60 plus, I am 100% putting $100 on that tonight. I'm going to join Polymarket. I'm going to put $100 on it, and I'm going to have $200 on Sunday. Easy. Look at the 1040 IMAX for The Mandalorian. Okay, hold on. Should I? You want me to? Thank you, Gone Girl. I love that you're doing the work there, laughing your ass off. Here you go. You ready? Let's check it out. Let's go to Mandalorian 10. I'll bet you there's I'm going to guess there's 10 people in there. Let's go 10 people for the 1040 Mandalorian. Give me a second. Where is it? Now it's completely stopped. That's how bad it is. They don't even want to show us any of the show times for Mandalorian. Oh my God. Here it is. 1040 IMAX on a Thursday. Everybody ready? Oh my God. What the fuck? I wasn't even, that's 5 seats. 5 seats. Y'all see this shit? There are 5 seats sold for Mandalorian and Grogu tonight at 1040 in IMAX. This is looking like Lion King. Remember Lion King completely flamed out in IMAX? Disney, you need to stop owning the IMAX. Backrooms should have this shit this weekend. You got 5 people in your movie. You're telling me the Backrooms at 1040 wouldn't have that completely sold out? It'd be packed. Instead, you got the craptacular Mandalorian Grogu with 5 seats. Oh my God. Gone Girl, a huge round of applause for you. I would have never even bothered because I don't care. But yet that's gold. That is money, baby. All right, let's get to as many comments as possible here on this Thursday night. By the way, I want a little bit of love for the graphics. Do you not see over my shoulder this way? You can see we have the Backrooms combined with the MMT. I need love for the aesthetic, okay? If we ever direct a film, they'll all say the aesthetic is mint. Because here at the channel, no one can touch us. How do you feel about the ending to Backrooms? Luis, this is what we talked about when we talk about some of that cabin in the woods, right? I do like the way that the place captures a piece of your soul. Okay, let's just leave it at that without ruining the film. I like that. So again, like I said, there are things here that you can work with that I definitely am for and I'm thumbs up on. And there's other things that I'm like, we need to make it better. That's what these evaluations are. It's not necessarily a wholesale trashing or a wholesale praising. I want to say, here's the changes you need to make. I always say this, there's a one-man test screening machine in front of you. And if the studios ever bothered to take advantage of that resource, we'd all get better films because no one is better at being objective and dead on about all this shit. Look at how many things we've gotten right. It is literally like a slew. It goes on and on and on every single time. And all the times that I get dragged for saying a film's terrible, guess what happens a year later when everyone discovers that they were wrong because they were too afraid to go against the whole hive mind bullshit mentality. You're right, that movie did suck. Well, no shit. I said it the night I came out. I don't need the luxury of 6 months plus other people as reinforcement. I am a one-man army and I do not need backup. I'm 17. Me and my friends are very excited for it. It has hit the zeitgeist for my generation. Me, my old man in a movie without question. Dude, I was at the theater tonight. I go into the regular laser screening of it. Was in like a mid-size theater, and I walked in, I looked around, and I'm like, what in the hell? I'm one of the oldest people in here. Now, typically, when you go to AMC Burbank, it's a lot of Gen Xers like myself. Tonight, it was all young, okay? Mostly dudes, but there still were young women in there too. So that's the audience, I think, that is going to push this thing to a number, again, when I say 80 million, nobody has it at that. Because when you start talking about mobilizing the Gen Z, the young force, you are talking about doing numbers that are going to blow people away on Sunday morning when the numbers come out. But again, I see it now tonight. I saw it with Michael. Remember, I said that film's going to absolutely slay. Forget the reviews. The audience loves it, and it's slammed, right? But here's the difference, though. Michael is clearly a film that audiences adore. This film's not that. It's not a wholesale trash job, like just throw this thing in the waste can, but it's also not a home run like an Obsession, like a Michael, okay? Listen, those are two great films at what they're trying to do. Obsession is our number one film of 2026, and I would put Michael in the top 10 without question. I think it will be in the top 10 because it's very good at what it is designed to do for the audience it's intended to serve. This film is not the perfect version of what the audience it's serving it needed to be, and that's why I think the openings going to be okay. I think the legs are where we talk about. This is not going to be another Obsession where we see a film rise. And we don't see that. This is a once in a generation situation with Obsession, where the word of mouth is so strong that you're becoming the number one film on a Wednesday over Mandalorian. This film's still building because people are all wanting to get in on it because it delivers, okay? This film doesn't deliver like that. Nowhere near. So you're not going to have that rabid word of mouth that you had from Obsession. That's very rare, and in this case, it's not going to exist. Chris Stuckman in his review talked about having dinner with Parsons and how he's going to give it praise no matter what because he knows how hard it is to make a movie. This is why, listen, welcome to the channel. Is it 8, Tez? I think it's an 8 or a B. I can't see it. But here's the deal. Is that Stuckman is completely worthless. He is milquetoast to start, okay? The guy has no edge. He's not interesting. He is so dull, right? We talk about paint drying on a wall. That is Chris Stuckman. And then you look at his film, which I don't even remember anything about it. That's how bad it was, right? You talk about a film that will evaporate from your mind as you watch it. You're talking about Shelby fucking Oaks, the subdivision of all subdivisions, like the worst title ever too. But you talk about needs to just exit. You know, I don't know why he gets the views he gets. I understand he's the OG. You got to move on. We got to move on from Chris Stuckman. It's time to just put that guy out to pasture. He's done. He's not a director. He's definitely not a YouTube critic anymore. You know, and he's also, you know, the kind of stuff that will cure insomnia. You know, you just talk about time to move on. And the fact that he said that is an embarrassment, frankly. I mean, I've talked about before that I will never hold back my thoughts on a film based on my relationship with anybody involved. I did that at a level one time, and I will never do it again. I'm not going to say it totally affected, but I'll just say, you know, slightly, and I don't want to have it ever affect anything. You know, you call me the Quentin Tarantino of the space. You know, that dude just says what he needs to say. Obviously, for him, it's a little different. For me, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about pleasing anyone, and I think that's the beauty of what we do. There's no one who has the ability to go as hard as we are, and then also to be fair. You know, those are the two things that I think you get out of this channel: objective and then absolutely detonation. And that's very unusual, and I hope you guys appreciate it. But yeah, Stuckman, what a surprise. Any other comments? And then we'll get ready to roll. It's gonna be a short stream tonight. I think we did it. You know, tonight's all about this film. And then Sunday we'll get into the entire thing. We'll do an hour, all that things. I'll answer some questions here because I think we've covered everything we need to about this film. But at the same time, you know, Sunday nights for our, you know, trailer watches, all that stuff, we'll do that on Sunday. Rank these movies: Backrooms, Spring Breakers, Undertones, Skinamarink. Brent, great question. Let's do it right now. Clearly, number one for me is Spring Breakers, because Spring Breakers is just a wild ride, really fun. Love the score, love Harmony's direction. It's just out there, right? So that's number one, clearly. Number two is going to be Skinamarink, because it's just so strange. Now, as an overall viewing experience, oh man, I'd probably put Backrooms ahead of it, but I remember more of Skinamarink because it's just so singular in what it's doing. I'm not saying that it is for everybody. I always say that. But I remember I had more feels in that film. In Backrooms, I didn't have that many feels, but I didn't hate it. I was engaged. So I'd almost rank them about the same. Okay, I think that's probably fair. But Backrooms needs to be more Skinamarink-fried. Skinamarink-fried. Oh God, that's a fun one. But you know what I'm saying? It needs to be just more weirded out. Okay, but then you get to Undertone. Oh my God, boys. Dude, you talk about a film that is dull, inert, not impressive at any level. Undertone is by far number 4, and probably, 50 feet of shit, and then Undertone. Undertone's not a good film. And Hokum sucks too. This film's better than Hokum. Backrooms is way better than Hokum. Oh, God, dudes, Hokum's a bad film. Adam Scott as the most unlikable author in the history of book, and then you have history of book. I like that. And you talk about just a film that the critics thought was so great, man. Both these films, Undertone and Hokum, really destroyed critics. Listen, critics have really lost everything lately. You talk about, I saw critics saying that Backrooms is so boring. Again, not a good review. You're just useless. Again, a backward cap wearing, just every guy kind of thing. I watch the thing. I'm like, this guy sucks. You know how many times I watch talent, quote unquote talent out there, and I go, this guy sucks. No one's ever said that. They say you're opinionated. You have, definitely an ego. You definitely have, fire and brimstone style, but no one's ever said you suck. When I watch some of these people, I go, how the hell do you have anyone watching you? I mean, literally, it's a real question. Are there that many stupid people out there that watch stuff? Because this is bad. Like, this isn't good. Like, nothing's good. Even if I was bad, my bad, because that's a mistake. If I were bad, you have the graphics. You don't even have the graphics from backward hat, cap wearing dork boy. What do you want? What are you getting from that? Look at my DVD collection. Oh, look, I'm the physical media guy. Hold on, where are my DVDs? They're here somewhere. I have them on the floor. You know what I mean? Here, look. Here, there. Here's some boxes, right? Have you guys seen these people, like the physical DVD guy? Look, I'm the physical DVD guy. Look, I have clothes, and I just got the 4K version of Widows. And look, I also got Gloria Bell. And look what else I got. Aren't I cool? I got Power of the Dog. Like, what the fuck, man? You collect videos. You're boring. Get off my channel. Get off YouTube. You're dull. You're worse than Stuckman. Well, no, that's not true. Stuckman's fucking terrible. More comment. That's a good question. That's a great. I love answering that stuff, and we actually got to the physical DVD guy. Look what I got in the mail today. I got the 4K Steelbook of Argo. Look at it. Oh my god, isn't it beautiful? Look at the inside. Oh, it's got a sticker. I can't open it. Ugh. God, I've never opened Argo. Oh, is it here? Look, it's got a trifold. Holy shit, this is so cool. I'm the physical DVD guy. Subscribe and like my channel. Thank you. That's such a moment. I love that. Whoever that was for, you guys will probably know, and I hope he's watching because you're a total fucking putz, dude, just so you know. I think Backrooms will get to the point where the wilder things that happen in the lore, but I like the outcome. Yeah, here's the thing. This is a good start. It's an okay start. I think you can build. Okay, I want a new director. I want Kane out. I'm not going to bring listen, Curry Barker. I keep wanting to say Clive Barker. Curry Barker is not coming in to direct the next film. It's just I just would give it to, who's the dude who did the Hellraiser remake? Did he also do Prey? Who the hell did the Hellraiser remake? He's done some things that are interesting. Maybe even give it to the Skinamarink guy. Like, honestly, get a writer and then get me the Skinamarink guy. Even though I know they're not. I'm just saying, let's try some different shit. I think that if we go back and do this again, we need a new director. Kane's out, and we're like, Kane, go do your thing. You're good, bro. But we're going to get someone else to kind of freshen this up, right? Like at times, you see a sequel. The director doesn't return. And usually it's because the director doesn't want to return, right? Look at a Spielberg with Jaws after you've done 1,000 of them, right? You're like, I'm done. Okay, but when you talk about a film like this, it's going to be harder to extract Kane Parsons because it's his kind of thing. But I think we need to move on from him and try someone else. And then maybe we can get to something maybe a little more interesting next time around. Even though I don't think it's bad. Again, man, like I said, C+, it's fine. I recommend it. I actually do. I recommend the film, and it's a film that we can talk about. I think that's the fun, on Sunday night when a lot of you have seen this film. Let's get back in here, reconvene, and let's talk about what this film does and does not do, what you like about it, all those things. Let's get ready for the comment blast closeout. Let's do it right now. Here it is. If you've never watched, it's coming up in just a second. Did I just get rid of that? Hold on. I promise you I'm adding some more. I just have to do it. Here it is. Got it. Boom. Here it is. Comment blast closeout. I'm going to play the track I had earlier, by the way, because it's one of my favorites. If you guys never seen In Fabric, go check it out. A24 film, directed by who directed In Fabric? David. I can tell you the score is. The score is from The Caverns of Antimatter, something like that, right? Very experimental stuff. This is from that. Love it. And again, I couldn't find this soundtrack for Backrooms tonight. It's not available yet on YouTube. Would you rather watch Beau's Afraid or Anora or Grogu back to back? If I had to watch one film back to back, it'd be. I can't believe I'm saying this. It'd be Grogu. I can't believe I just said that. Oh man, I might have to delete this stream. Dude, you put literally, you're talking about sawed-off shotguns to the head. Like multiple sawed-off shotguns to the head. I really don't want to. It just got dark, didn't it? Darker than Backrooms. But no, honestly, yeah, bro, Hellraiser. No, I don't think the Hellraiser thing was great, but I think he's got talent. What was the one he did with the house, the something house, right? That one with Rebecca Hall. That film was pretty cool, if I'm remembering it correctly. I forget what it's called. Trust me, just give me a second. I'll come up with other people. I just popped into my head that dude because I remember that film I really liked. The Night House, the something I want to say. Is that right? The Night House? Like, I don't know. I just feel like you just got to get a new director. We can talk about that. I'm up for debate. Luis. Luis is like, listen, I'm rolling decks and directors. But hey, listen, even what's his name who did In Fabric? Hold on, I gotta look right now. Let's watch. Hold on, before we go, let's watch a second of the In Fabric trailer. Why? Because you know why? Because it's my channel. I can do whatever I want at this point. Kane was definitely trying to emulate Osgood Perkins. Yes, I would totally agree with that. Hold on, have you guys never seen the In Fabric? Here, let me show you just a second. I know we've watched this before, but you gotta watch the trailer. Trailer's fucking badass. Okay, here it is. This is a cool film called In Fabric. Give me a second. I got it here. Just let me pop up the right thing. Here it is. This is when okay. Oh no, I just hit the stop sharing button. This is what happens when you do things live. All right, give me a second. I gotta find it. Where is it? Add screen. That's why I should have just turned the channel off. This is my fault. All right, here we go. You ready? Here we go. This is a little bit of the trailer for In Fabric. This is a cool film. If you've never seen this trailer or this film, it's badass. Here it is. This is a taste of In Fabric from A24 from back in like 2018.
A purchase on a horizon?
I'm just looking, thank you.
The hesitation in your voice, soon to be an echo in the recesses of the spheres of retail. The dress is your image, onto what you project through an illusion.
I'm just going on a date. I don't normally wear this kind of thing.
Be bold.
I love the
Your date will
cinematography in this film. I love
compliment
the
you.
score. I love the weird
I would like you to
fucking
announce the
vibes of
numbers
this
to
film.
your telephone.
Okay?
01632
If you have not seen In Fabric,
960
you need to see In Fabric.
And 7
It's
and
super
8
badass.
and 6.
That's our
and
big
stop.
recommendation here tonight. Better than Backrooms.
As promised.
And you can check that out. It's definitely on digital. It's been out for years. It's called In Fabric. All right. Any other comments? And we're out of here on this, what is it? Thursday. This is by the way, how about some Night House? Thank you, RB. RB, see, these things come like out of nowhere. They're just like, I'm drawing things in because it's live, right? As you guys can tell. You know, that's the other thing is, right? The degree of difficulty for doing this show is about 1,000 times more than anything Stuckman's ever done, including his film, okay? That's for sure. Did you see it? So we need some love for that alone. Again, the graphics tonight, harder than anything that Stuckman did in his horrible movie, Shelby Oaks. You guys see Shelby Oaks? All right, rapid fire questions and we're out of here. Anything else on this Thursday night and I'm leaving? I'm going back to bed. No, I am going to bed soon. It's been a long day, and it's been a fun day, though, because I didn't hate the film. And it also, 46, well, that's way under. Mega Swiper, you're way low. You're way low. This film is at least 65. I'm going to take it at 80. I understand I'm way out there. I get it. I'm with you. I mean, I understand how people are like, whoa, that's too much when you say 80 million. But here's the deal. This film, this property is huge. The only thing I worry about it trying to get to a number this big is the word of mouth will not be as strong as it needs to be. That's the issue. And we'll talk about it coming up on Sunday morning. We have the Breaking Box Office, used to be called that. Now it's called Midnight Movie Money. We got that show coming up for you. And then Sunday night, we'll talk about all the stuff in the world of film. If I didn't get to it tonight from this week. IMAX for sale. We got trailer watches. We got whatever happens between now and then. Lots of things to discuss, including the mayoral race here in LA. I'll throw my endorsement behind one of the candidates. And guess what? It's definitely not going to be Karen Bass. Okay. I promise you, no way in hell do we want a worse Los Angeles. First of all, is it possible to have a worse Los Angeles? I don't think so. I can't imagine. Short of full-on GTA, I don't believe that there is a way that we could have a worse version of Los Angeles than what we have. That's how I'll give you a hint of where we are. That's it for tonight. Here comes my last thing I made for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you back here on Sunday for the box office show and then Sunday night for the Sunday Evening Spectacular. Thanks for being here live from LA. MMT is off the air.